Hey guys, welcome to the Vero G Spotlight TV show with your host, Vero G. We got a great show for you guys today. On my, I think, right side, we have the amazing artist, Murr Mayo. Welcome to the show.
What up, what up, what up?
Yes.
I'm on TV, oh my God.
Definitely. How do you feel, man?
It feels great. I've always wanted to be on TV. What you mean? It feels great.
Definitely. And you
I got the belt with me, guys. All my
Yes.
people's back home. I got the belt right now. I'm not taking it back with me. I just want to make that clear because I got so many questions about that throughout the week. So yeah, I don't own this belt, but I got it for now, and I'm defending it at the next show that I can show up to. I'll put it that way. It could be April, could be May. Definitely May, if not April. I'll say that much.
Awesome.
So I'm coming back in May latest to get my belt. I mean, yeah, to keep my belt, definitely. So whoever wants to bring up the challenge is an open challenge. Like this dude Edge says, it's an open challenge to take this. So anybody who wants to take this, it's up for grabs. But yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that in a minute, how you got that and all that sort. So
Yeah.
I got you. So, guys, quick announcements on here on the show, guys. Of course, you guys know announcements. April issue of the Vero G Spotlight magazine will be out officially tonight, midnight. April 1st, guys. It will be available at www.madcloud.com, so definitely go cop that if you guys get a chance to. Also, guys, quickly, new music will be coming out soon this year at all digital platforms, so definitely check that out when that is time soon. Also, guys, vote for Vero G. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Vote for her.
Yes, guys, please
Latin
vote.
Music Awards.
Yes, thank you. Exactly what he just said. Yes. So vote for me, guys, for Latin artist, like you mentioned, for 2022, and for Music Video of the Year, Emmy Gama at www.ldmradio.com. Also, guys, quickly, like I said again, we got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about in a little while with our amazing guests for today's show. And I think that's pretty much it for announcements, yeah. Are you ready?
I'm very much ready.
Oh, yes. All right, so before I even get started, let's I'm going to give it the applause, okay?
All right.
Let's give an applause to the champion, the first ever champion for the Vero G Spotlight Artist Showcase, Murr Mayo. How do you feel to have that on you, man?
Man, it feels great. I ain't even gonna lie, like, I don't win much shit in the, can I swear?
Yeah, come on.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't win much shit. I don't win much shit, honestly. And I'm a very humble guy. So, like, I go into all the showcases. Like, every showcase I've done, I've paid a slot for. And all the perks and everything that comes with it, it's not really a prize, it's just something that accommodates the slot. So I've never really been in the mode where I have won. Like, it's still kind of, I'm still wrapping my head over it because it's not like a Grammy or an Academy Award or none of that, but like at the end of the day, it still counts for something.
Yes.
And being that, like, you go through your life and you don't win much and then you win something is like, that's where the sentimental value comes into play. Like, this is great. Coming on here is great. Doing the music video is great. But, like, there was a bigger purpose with that show for me. It wasn't about prizes. So maybe carry myself as humble as I can is my advice. Like, carry yourself as humble as you can to all these shows because you never know who's going to win. I honestly will say this. When I got done performing, I was just happy to headline.
I know.
I was just happy to headline. I didn't even care about winning at that point. I did my thing. I was satisfied, and I just got off the stage, and I value the networking, so, you know, the networking kicked in automatically like it always does. So, yeah, that's what it came down to for me, was more the networking, the experience, knowing that I was capable of bringing that energy to the stage, all that.
I love
But
that.
winning, it was something that didn't cross my mind. I literally, honestly, I'm going to tell you, like, when you guys announced my name, I sat there and I was like, what? I was like, for real?
Yeah, yeah.
That was my reaction. And it was genuinely, like, confused because I was like, that's not what I came here for. So I think that kind of really brought it into play, was like the prizes being announced when they were announced. None of us knowing that prizes were going to happen.
Exactly. That's what we try to kind of surprise you guys with that stuff.
Like, I'll put it this way, on my end, I didn't know there was prizes involved. So I'll speak on myself, on my end of things.
We didn't tell nobody.
I had no idea that was coming. So that was another factor that kicked into it. Sometimes it's good to have a show where things happen last minute because it doesn't put everybody into that motivational mode, but it puts people in a mode where it's like, I didn't even come here for that, or, oh, word, we're going to do it like this, or the reactions could be relative at the end of the day. So
exactly. And I do want to point out that, like I said, you won for here this show today. Also, like I said, you won a radio, DTF radio for Song Rotation, which one of the songs is Tacos?
We're going to run Tacos,
yes, so I'm excited for that. We're going to talk about that in a minute, because we got a lot. That's an interesting song. I think we talked about it before.
I think that played a part into my winning, too, was had I not performed Tacos, had I not performed the tracks that I had performed that had high energy,
yes,
that put me into a high energy mode, it does come down to that. Like, there was a lot of good performers. Like, everybody who performed, blessings to all of them. I was glad to be able to witness all of that. That was another thing I had an experience, was actually having to stay for the entire time from the beginning to the end.
You see that, people? Artists, listen to this.
Like, I come from an area where you go to a show and you expecting, and it's nothing against Boston or, you know, Cambridge or nothing against Massachusetts, but I've been to shows in Fall River, I've been to shows in Taunton, I've been to shows in Cambridge, I've been to shows in Boston, I've done shows all around, to the point where I've noticed it's like a lot of the similarities come into play. Like, you don't get artists like we had at that show that literally will stay the entire time, whether they went first. Although I will say, if you're the first performer up, I don't blame you for leaving at a certain time. Like, if you're supporting in the meantime, like, cool. I get it if you can't stay for the headliner. It happens. Yeah. I've been there myself. So I never blame anybody who ends up and leaving, because I would be a hypocrite to sit there and start being like, well, that dude right there, that motherfucker right there, like, why are they leaving? Like, I would be a hypocrite to say that, because I've been in the same exact position myself, where I performed first, second, third, and like, whether it's drama or whatever the case may be, like, there are certain points and periods where you just gotta up and leave the show. I just had a show out in Maine, in Portland, and, you know, things went well. I was part of the headlining. It was a group of us that was part of the headlining, and then, you know, things just turned ugly for this reason and that reason, and it was one of my peoples that was with me, and I just had to up and leave the show, because it was like, I had already done my thing, and I had already performed. It was just the way that the exterior circumstances were at the show. So that happens sometimes too. So, like, I've been in kind of all them positions where I've been halfway through the show performing, beginning, and now the last two shows I've done, the first two shows I've done this year, including this, were kind of headlining. So it's like, now I'm experiencing it on a different platform. I don't mind that. I'm starting to understand more, like, knowledge of performers and performances, and one of my questions has always been, and I'm pretty sure a lot of artists think this too from time to time, I'm sure you think of this from time to time, when you performed like first, second, or third, where it's the case, let me try to think about it. I know a lot of artists have thought about it, where it's to the point where they sit there and they wonder the same things that I wonder. I'll put it that way, because I can't remember the exact words I was going to say. But yeah, no, I'm sure I'm not the only artist who has thought of it and has put it into perspective where, okay, I remember what. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only artist who has thought, does it matter where I perform and at what point I perform?
That is true.
You know, I don't think I'm the only one that sits there and wonders that. But the only way you can get to that point and wonder that is when you are performing first or in the middle or last. And you get to experience all three elements of the show, you know.
Exactly.
So
I always say to end that part, I feel like as long as you go to a show, no matter if it's one audience member, or it's 10,000 audience members, or it's just a small group of people. The key is how you perform and you give a performance to people and how they interact with you. And if it's one person, 10 people, 50,000, 10,000, if they interact and feel your passion and the way you perform, that's all key. Doesn't matter how many people come and show support or how many people come. It's about how you perceive and put it out there.
Like, I've gotten to that point where I've grown to accept that with the smaller venues. Now, one of my goals going later into this year to next year is to do bigger venues, open up for bigger crowds. I love crowds because I get more reactions with my music. Given that I make comedy music, it's like a lot of it's no different than being a stand-up comedian. If you really think about it at its bare minimum, I'm like a stand-up comedian. Instead of doing jokes and one-liners and punchlines like that, I'm putting it into music. So I'm putting a bunch of one-liner stuff that can match each other a certain way, like every 4 lines matches each other, then you got the other 4 lines that comes out, or every 2 lines, or however you structure your songs, or whatever the case may be. It's like, I feel like a stand-up comedian sometimes, where I'm like, either this music is gonna hit, these jokes are gonna hit, and when I hear reactions, I start understanding where comedians stand, where it's like, you need the reactions with this type of music I make. It's not just some turned up, energetic music. It's like, there's the beat. I don't want to say it like this, but I come from the 90s, and I always value lyrics, and there's a lot of old heads out there, and no offense to the old heads, there's a lot of old heads out there, and y'all got your talk at the end of the day about how these new artists are, but like, I'm gonna state this quite clearly, quite now. I'm about to be 37 years old. We're not gonna play this game where I'm a young artist. I'm not a young artist. I'm one of you old heads. And I'm doing something, I'm trying to do something where I'm trying to incorporate the lyrics together with the bars. You may not rock with the music because it's not relatable, but what you are gonna rock with as an old head is the fact that I might use modern day beats, but I still carry a 90s type of flow with me.
The vibe to it.
Like, I still carry that 90s type of flow. Like, I'm not like every 90s artist out there, not at all. I'm not trying to be like that. But what I'm saying is the way I spit my bars, the way I write and everything, it's very much like structured in a way where it's like, this is how you know that I've taken from these old hip hop artists, these old rap artists and whatever, you know, so.
I like that.
So yeah, I mean, I try to be the 90s person that I grew up being, but I have to put myself in a modern day age, and I have to appeal to an audience that is not going to especially be on board with what I'm doing quite at the beginning, but after the years have passed by and I continue doing the comedy, it does pick up. It takes time though. Like, you know, it's not something that I'm gonna blow up overnight. I'm not gonna blow up overnight. I do not have the kind of music that makes radio waves like that. Like, Tacos is an exception. But even then, Tacos is so explicit, you can't throw it on the radio.
Boy, that's
you can
deep.
cut the swears and throw it on the radio, and then you're dealing with the content. And it's like, now we got the content aspect, and that was one of the things people asked me about the Grandma's Boy remix, actually, was the content. They're like, how did they make a clean version? I'm like,
there is not.
It's really simple. They just take out the swears. It's no different than the old school radio way of doing things, where they used to have Eminem's tracks on and the content was out there. And if you was too young, you didn't get it. But if you was old enough, you got it. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's like how SpongeBob was. You know, SpongeBob was for the kids, but then it had the subliminal stuff for the adults.
Yes,
and if you're an adult watching with your kid, you get enjoyment out of SpongeBob too. Exactly. So I'm not saying that will happen with my music, but what I am saying is that I have a very realistic understanding that this is going to take a lot longer than I expected. It's not. But I said that 2 years ago. I said, this is not going to be a sprint with this comedy. It's going to be a marathon. Eventually, people are going to understand this is the way I am, and this is the way I rap, and this is what I talk about. And it's starting to become that way. People are starting to actually embrace it a little bit more and more and more over time. They're like, I can't get him to make other music. I've said this, like, if you're not paying and investing in me, why would I sit there and make the music you want me to make?
Exactly.
Because you're not throwing any money behind it. So how do I know at the end of the day on a marketing end? It's not even making the track. I could make a track anybody wants. I could make that for them, but it's the marketing.
That's cute.
It's the marketing. 90% is the marketing. It's like, can I market this to an audience
that is gonna appreciate your music, you know, and accept it, and just like you said, it takes a while. People have to adjust to it, but eventually it's gonna get to a part where people are like, yo, this is unique, something different I need you to hear. That's why your sound sounds different from everyone else.
And you know what's funny? Like, I wouldn't even say I make some unique ass music at the end of the day. I don't do anything different than like what a Lonely Island did for Saturday Night Live, or like a BFB right now is doing, or like a Lil Dicky did years ago, a couple years ago, or like a Redman's been doing for years, or any of that, or even a Slim Shady. Because I've been getting those comparisons too, so we'll put that out there. I'm not doing anything different. What I'm doing is I'm bringing back something that I think that people need right now.
Exactly.
People are getting tired of the violent music, you know?
Too much of that. Too many rappers getting killed too over that stuff too, so that's another story. And
yeah, like, I don't make the music, I'm never going to make that, like, I mean, my goal is to not try to bring any kind of rap beef into my life, period.
Let's leave that alone.
Because it would just be too, I don't think, on a business end, it would just, I don't even think it would go off the way that the other person would want it to, because it's like, you don't even know what I'm about to bring to the table. And that's what the complication is with my music, is a lot of times, like, I'll just be sitting there talking to people, and someone will feed me something where I'm like, this is how I justify it. It's like, I could put this on social media, but 2 days later, it's not going to be relevant.
Ooh.
I could put it in a song, and it could become relevant, and it could blow up to a point where it's always remembered because, you know, whatever the case may be, like, it's always remembered, versus social media, which is so trending and so quick to change the news up.
Yes.
You have the odd instances. I won't get into what just happened, because I don't really care about what happened.
Yeah.
I don't care what people think about the whole Oscars thing.
Yeah, we won't get into that.
I just think it brought more activity to the Academy, honestly. It brought more attention to them,
to
like,
both of them,
the
actually.
Oscars.
Yeah.
No, I think it brought more attention to the Oscars.
Oh,
That's why they
true.
didn't kick Will Smith out or none of that. That's why they allowed it to happen, because the Academy Awards is, generally speaking, a really boring show.
Very
Have you
true.
ever sat and watched it all the way through?
Yeah.
Because I have. I did it when I was a kid. Like, I used to be really into film.
Oh,
So I used to really watch these award shows. Like, this is where I want to be. This was my passion. So I used to watch these Golden Globe shows. I used to watch these Academy Award shows on purpose, just to sit for 3 to 4 hours of boring ass. Even the people hosting the show, like the comedians, weren't that funny, because it's like everything's so tight. It felt too tight. So now this just loosened up the Academy to be like, well, we have to look into our whole proceedings of things. No, you don't. You just have to structure it better where people don't slap people at the Academy Awards.
I guess it's accepting. You know,
And if
it's
anybody
acceptable.
thinks that Will Smith's Academy Award is getting taken away, no. My theory, and I'm going to leave it at this, my theory with the whole thing is them white dudes at the Academy Awards running that shit wanted him to do that.
Oh.
We won't get into that. That's conspiracy stuff.
Woo! That's another show, because I could get rid.
But if you think that those award shows
it's a
aren't
ritual.
rigged,
Let's keep it what it is.
but if you think those award shows aren't rigged, you guys have another thing coming, because I've watched too many of the award shows to know this. I've seen this.
Grammys,
You
the
can
list
tell.
goes on, all of them.
Like, I was so religious in it that I would watch the movies nominated for Best Picture, and I'd watch these actors and actresses, and I'm like, it's just, he or she is just so, like, look, it's just too obvious. Like, the way that the performance is just way too good to deny. And that is part of it half of the time, too. So I won't displace actors and actresses. Like, they work hard for that stuff.
Very true.
But with award shows, that's why I don't care about awards and prizes, because I'm like,
that is true.
Yeah, there is that possibility that can come up all the time, that people can say this, that, and third, but
I know.
that's why I don't care about the awards. Like, I don't care to win a Grammy. I would rather win a radio plaque.
Hey, that sounds good too.
I would rather win a radio plaque. Maybe that song just gets circulated throughout the years. You know.
You never know. Yeah.
But like a Grammy, I'm super good. Like, they'll never give me a Grammy for what I make. Although I do make the melodic music, and I do have with the after this White Chocolate Mayo tape drops. There is part 2, part 3, and part 4. So the way I'm doing it is the even parts are gonna be like the mainstream tracks that I make for like everybody that doesn't have all the offensive like lines and everything in it. You know, it's just straight laced, simple, and then there's Love and Drugs, which is the melodic, all melodic. But that's a really, like at the show I had mentioned it, it's a really cool concept. It's a chapter arc. It explores drugs and love and how the two affect each other in relationships, how it affects each other in whatever the scenario. I'm not going to state too much, but like a lot of people who don't gravitate towards the comedy will probably gravitate, and that's what's happened over the years since Strawberry Fields got made. That's when I started noticing, like, not everybody's going to gravitate to this.
Yes.
But there's those people who will gravitate to this.
Exactly.
So I'm basically using this year to just be like, let me try to create as many fan bases as I can, see who follows what.
I love that.
If I go to a big show, it'll be interesting. There will be people waiting for the comedic tracks, and then people waiting for the melodic stuff,
So
and then people waiting for the mainstream, and it's like, it's going to be a crazy structure for a big-ass tour if I ever do one. I'll put it that way.
That'd be kind of cool. Actually, pretty much answered my questions, but before...
I bet I did. I'm so detailed with these interviews.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
good. No, you're good. No, don't apologize. But you're gonna perform live for us too, as a treat for both songs. Both of them are gonna be, one is a Grandma's Boy remix.
Yeah, which features Bizarre.
Okay, that one. And then the other song you're gonna perform for us
is the White Chocolate track that I did at the show that I just dropped. It's on all platforms. Both those tracks are on all platforms. Both those tracks are going to be on the tape as well. I've been running those as singles. I've been leaking the Tacos track as I go along.
Yes.
I haven't released that yet. It's releasing with the tape on the 15th of April. So
I like that.
I've just been hyping that up because it's another one of those tracks. It's funny, I made that 2 years ago. And I sat on it for like 2 years. And I was trying to release it a year ago, but they wouldn't let me because of this, that, and the third. They was trying to complain about this, that, and the third. I'm not getting into this for you artists, but just get up on your copyrights, get up on your registration stuff, like get up on that stuff because like I deal with United Masters. I don't know who you deal with.
I heard about them. No. But yeah, I heard about them.
They're picky.
Yeah.
They're picky. Like they get picky about cover image, like they get picky about covers.
Yes.
Like they tried to strike down the White Chocolate cover, trying to say that it was like third-party images were used. Now with the Grandma's Boy remix cover, I had an old lady on that cover. Shout out to my boy.
Man.
Shout out to my boys Dice and this dude Joey for making those two covers. Dice made the Grandma's Boy remix cover. This dude Joey made the White Chocolate cover. Now with the Grandma's Boy remix cover, you have to always be careful about what you're grabbing off of the internet and stuff. So
because there's other issues behind that.
Once it got struck, I had to make another cover, which is the cover that we rocked with at the end of the day, the plain one.
Yes, I seen that one.
Because the plain one wasn't gonna run into any copyright issues, and so.
Got it.
But I do own the track. I do own the track completely. I got the copyrights on it, everything. So whoever spins it or whatever, I don't know how that's going to translate into royalties or whatever, but I have, like, I did 50-50 split with Bizarre on it.
Oh, so you're good.
Yeah, Bizarre's manager was really helpful with all of that. She was the one that actually guided me into the media base, the sound exchange, all that stuff.
Because that's every time it comes in, that's royalties coming for you and for him.
If you ever want to have your stuff really spun on the radio, you need to get on top of your sound exchange registration. You need to get on top of your media base registration for copyright reasons. You gotta get on top of all of that as an artist.
Very true.
Like this dude, I don't even like this dude, but this dude Tekashi just settled some shit in court because of Gooba.
There you go.
And we're gonna talk strictly on the music end with this because I don't like that guy at all. I hate to say it, but
who doesn't?
But karma caught up to him with the falling off part. But with that being said, like in terms of the Gooba track, he got caught up.
Yeah.
And it was through a track that got dropped on SoundCloud. So I don't even drop shit on SoundCloud personally. I don't do that.
Yeah, because there's some other stuff with that.
Because you never know who's gonna take it, and people try to convince me. People really have tried to convince me recently. They're like, "No, bro, you can privatize things," and I'm like, "I believe you."
I don't believe
But my problem is you still haven't copyrighted that track, which means you still are leaving it open for not only major artists to take it, Because I heard about Drake and SoundCloud. I've heard
He
about
steals
Drake
from
and
other artists,
he
yeah.
steals from other artists if something sounds
Yeah, I heard
hot.
it first here, right, people?
But it's not only that, it's like you don't copyright or register your stuff to protect it. You're leaving it open for third world countries. I've learned
Everywhere.
so much. Like, you're leaving it open for third world countries like Nigeria and places like that to just take your music, sell it on the black market, and then good luck trying to get to these dudes. Because first of all, you ever gonna find them?
No.
And if you
For a
do
while,
find
yeah.
them, you don't even have your lawyer present or nothing. You
So
don't
you
even
fuck
have a
either
lawyer.
way,
You
yeah.
just came all gung-ho into a country that is gonna rob you of everything that you got, all your personal possessions. Like, it's a long trail of crumbs.
It is.
And then there's the clearances with the label if you ever drop a track.
Oh, good luck. That's gonna be like months.
Yeah, and I got lucky with the Bazaar thing.
So
because Bazaar is not with a
Eminem.
major label.
Oh, he's not with them
probably
anymore.
shouldn't have said that. But you know
No,
what?
but he's still good.
Not
He's
many
still-
people want to work with Bazaar either, so I'm not worried about that part. I love working with Bazaar. I might make a 5-track EP with him, honestly.
Well, I can't wait to hear you perform in a minute. But before we do, tell them your social media where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm Murr Mayo on everything. I'm
Okay,
gonna
that was
keep this up for like a few more seconds. It's MURRMAYO, Mayo short for mayonnaise, Murr short for Murray. That's the easiest way to explain it. Facebook is Murr Mayo, IG is Murr Mayo. I don't use Twitter, TikTok, Triller, Murr Mayo. Everything is Murr Mayo. Spotify, Apple, Tidal, Pandora, Deezer, Napster, all that shit is Murr Mayo. You can Google search me. MURRMAYO. It's as simple as that. If you Google search me, you're gonna find a lot more on Google.
There you go.
You're gonna find like song data and all that stuff. I did one day.
Oh, he's like, let me put myself here.
Yeah, no, I did. I looked it up and I found it, and it was like, oh, wow, it gave me reviews. Look yourself up. You might be on song data.
I'm gonna go check that tonight.
And it will tell you if your like vocabulary or your versatility is there, your lyricism, if it's danceable. Most of my tracks are danceable. I came to find that out. Most of my stuff is danceable, but I'm like, all right, cool. Like, not everything is up to par with you guys. I do not care less about critics, though.
Look, you do what
Never
you have
cared
to do.
about critics, bro.
Exactly.
If we cared about critics with our product that we make, man, you gonna have a heart attack way faster than eating salami.
Oh man, you heard that first here.
No, fun fact: if you eat too much salami, you get a heart attack at 45. That's a fact.
Well, that means have to lay on that. Lay on that.
Oh, that's a fact, though. I found that out when I was young. But yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm Murr Mayo on everything. MURRMAYO.
Okay. Awesome. So we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna have you next perform live for us. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So, awesome. So again, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And guys, we'll be right back watching the Vero G Spotlight TV show with your host Vero G and our amazing artist Murr Mayo. We'll be right back.